Seasons, greetings, and welcome back to the Council of Elrond. Today's episode is our Christmas special and the finale of Season 1. We're going to chillax, have a couple of drinks, and bring you some fun Lord of the Rings knowledge with a Christmassy twist. Grab a pipe, put your hobbit feet up, find some eggnog, and join us for the last episode of the Council of Elrond of 2021. I'm Dave, and as per usual with me is my brother and co-host, Johnny.
Hello. Hi. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas. This actually, I was just thinking about it today, that this is the closest episode that we're recording to it actually coming out, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So Christmas is around the corner for us because
normally we record in advance, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This time we're actually doing it just a couple of days before we release. So yeah, it is Christmas.
So we are Christmassy and we are excited, which is good. And it's so weird to have the final episode, well, of season 1, of course.
Yeah, final episode of season 1. But don't worry, Dave. Don't be downhearted. Don't be
hasty.
Don't be hasty. Yeah. Don't be disappointed. We will be back soon with season 2. But yeah.
So guys, on today's episode, we are going to do a special 12 Days of Christmas song, but it's going to have a Lord of the Rings spin on it. And with each day, you're going to get some lovely Lord of the Rings information given by either myself or Johnny.
And we're going to be singing. We're going to be singing for you.
And yeah, it's going to be fun. You can download it on...
You can download it on TikTok.
Beyond OnlyFans. All right, but before we get into the song, we're going to start off with a much anticipated Johnny and Dave Drink the World. So
yes, we had lots of calls for bring back Johnny and Dave Drink the World.
Yeah, did we only do it once, or we kind of did it twice? Yeah. We did it for the...
we did it a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, but we kept meaning to bring it back, but then we kept doing these episodes early in the morning, so we couldn't really drink that much, or we were too hungover. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking. It's 1906. It's called. It's a little sort of subdivision of the brand Estrella Galicia, which is a beer from Spain. And this one is a special one, which is called Black Coupage. It's called La Oveja Negra, which means the black sheep.
Wow.
And yeah, it's lovely. It's a black beer, but it tastes like a lager. It's kind of weird. Like as in, it's black beer. It's like, it's quite high percent actually. Let me check. Ooh, it's 7.2%. But so when I first saw those like black beers are like a high percentage, I was like, oh, it's probably going to be really like heavy and, a meaty beer. But it's actually like one that could quench your thirst. So, if you're just in from playing football, I'd reach for that instead of the water.
It's just what you need for today's episode as well. Very good. And in case anyone doesn't know, because we've only done this segment a couple of times, this is basically kind of a spin-off on Billy and Dom Eat the World on the Billy and Dom podcast, The Friendship Onion. Basically, myself and Johnny are just taking new drinks and testing them out. And yeah, we're probably just going to get nice and drunk.
We're just boozing. We're pretending that we're doing it for the podcast, but really we're
exactly, yeah. It's for the podcast.
Yeah.
It's a segment, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not an alcoholic.
I had to practice for the podcast yesterday evening as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm running out of beers. New beers for the podcast.
So what are you drinking, Dave?
I have this thing here. It's called it's a hazy little thing IPA is what it's called. So it's in a nice vibrant purple can.
I like it. I like the font.
Yeah, it's cool. It's one of the like Sierra Nevada drinks. Yeah. So we had what was the other one? Tropical Torpedo, I think was the one that I had. But this is an IPA, so never had it before, but I saw it in Aldi and I was like, ooh, I will bring that to the podcast. So yeah, I'm gonna have a little sip here. You've already had that one before, have you? Yeah,
I have. It's not the first time I've had this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's a good sound.
Ooh. Do you ever smell a beer?
Smell test. I always smell a beer.
Very good. Smells like gravel. Just like the tropical torpedoes, very like fruity. Good. Yeah. It's an IPA, but it doesn't really taste like IPA, and it's 4.6%, so not as much as here, or whatever, 7 point whatever.
I think I'm going to have one of these, and then I'm going to, like, for the rest of the podcast, I'm going to go back to a lighter beer, because something else that we should...
Down to a 6%.
Something else that we should tell our listeners now is that this is an idea that we've literally just come up with about, like, 10 minutes ago, so we'll have to see how it works. But myself and Dave were talking before the podcast, and we said, what about to make this episode even more kind of fun and Christmassy, would be that while we're talking, we could also try and slip in some Christmas Lord of the Rings puns into this episode, and we can make it a drinking game. So if I manage to, without going too far out of my way, if I actually just manage to think up of a Christmas pun to do with Lord of the Rings, that will mean that Dave has to drink. So we haven't really had any time to actually... Yeah, it's quite niche. But Dave and I love puns as well. So we'll actually see if we're able to come up with any. But we'll have to see how that works out. But so that's what we're going to do. We might not be able to think of any. But if we do, if you hear some puns being thrown into this episode, it's because we're making the other person drink. Yeah.
Hey, John.
Yeah?
Merry Christmas.
Save it for the pod.
This is the pod.
Yeah, this is true. Pippin and Merry Christmas.
All right, guys, so let's get into it.
On the first day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring the one and ruling ring.
Yes, guys, number one is obviously the one and ruling ring, Sauron's ring. So, in each of these little segments, we're going to just explain to you a couple of minutes, a couple of things about each of these individual items that we name on our list of the 12 days of Christmas. So we're going to talk a little bit about the one ring, but obviously there's not too much that you guys probably don't already know. So Dave, just for the people at home that probably already know, what does the ring say?
The ring says, one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them.
Bind them. Exactly. Yeah. Very, very good. And do you know, Dave, for an extra point, what language is the ring written in? It's the ring. Sorry, what language is the writing on the ring? What language is that written in?
If I recall correctly, it's written in Tengwar, which is like the written black speech.
Well, no, Tengwar is just an elven script.
Sorry, yes.
But like, you couldn't write
any. Too far.
Yeah, you were trying to like, look how much I know.
Yeah.
No, the black speech didn't have a written form. So actually, yes, because the elves were the only ones that created the written form, and they created Tengwar. So in order to put a written form of black speech, they went for Tengwar and they chose that. And that's what Sauron was always wanting anyway. He was always wanting Tengwar.
Oh, God. God damn. So this is why you wanted this segment. He was always one Tengwar.
I literally just thought of that right now. I was like,
oh really? Well then, kudos.
That was terrible.
It's not very Christmassy.
No, that's why I was like, I'm sorry. It wasn't Christmassy. I'm sorry about that one. But I was like, oh my God, I think I could go over one of Tengwar. I was like, how can I say Teng? One Teng? Anyway, other things to say about the One Ring. Well, recently, Dave and I, we became the owners of lovely One Rings. And do you have anything to say about those, Dave?
Yeah, they're beautiful. I think we touched on it briefly in one of our more recent episodes. Rowan Silversmiths was the guy that sent them to us. So yeah, again, you guys should check out his page. He's a jeweler and he's got some beautiful rings there, some of which we have.
So he sent us some little One Rings with the inscriptions and all beautifully done. So yeah, we have our Tengwar. One Rings in Tengwar. Exactly. Okay, moving on to day 2.
On the second day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 2 hobbits smoking and the one and ruling ring.
So yes, 2 hobbits smoking, but we all know about the Hobbit, so I kind of wanted to touch on what they were actually smoking. So pipeweed, let's get into it. Pipeweed was the plant of Middle-earth, and in particular, it's grown and enjoyed much by the hobbits of the Shire, to whom it was first introduced by Tolbald Hornblower. So, there's not that much to say on the pipeweed, but there's a couple of cool facts here. So, it was first grown in the Shire by Mr. Hornblower in Longbottom around 1070. So the hobbits were the first to use this for smoking, and pipeweed production became a major industry in the Shire, and especially in the south, where it coined the name halfling's leaf. Actually has a couple of names, which you'll hear now. So the same plant was known among the Dunedain as sweet galanas for its fragrance, and in Gondor it was known as Westman's weed, and grew there as a wild plant, appreciated most for its sweet scented flowers. The colloquial name was the
ganja.
Yeah. The colloquial name was in reference to its origins. It was apparently brought to Middle-earth by Númenóreans in the Second Age. Now, popular hobbit varieties of pipeweed soon included long-bottom leaf, Old Toby, which is named after Mr. Tolbald Hornblower, and Southern Star, and Southlinge, which was grown in Bree. And finally, Gandalf, also known as Mithrandir.
Oh, very good. Well done. All right, I'm happy to drink on that one.
I was like, I also have Gandalf the Red-Nosed Mithrandir. So Gandalf, he learned to smoke pipeweed from the hobbits and was known to blow elaborate smoke rings, as we see in the films. Saruman initially criticized him for this, but eventually secretly took up smoking himself. After the destruction of Isengard, after the destruction of Isengard, pipeweed was found among its stores, like we see in the Return of the King deleted scenes. But the hobbits Merry and Pippin failed to realise until later the implications of the discovery of Saruman's commerce with the Shire.
On the third day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
So moving on to number 3, which is our 3 magic elf rings. So the 3 rings for the elven kings, I suppose, the 3 elf lords and ladies. So before I give you some information about these rings, Dave, do you know who made the 3 rings for the elves?
That would be Sauron. No, that would be...
That is not correct.
Oh God, what the hell is his name? Celebrimbor.
That is correct. Very good. Well done. Yes, of course. As we see in the movies, they don't speak at all about Celebrimbor because obviously I imagine they just didn't want to go into that. But in the movies, they kind of tell us that it was Sauron that made all the rings. But in fact, in the books, we know that it was Celebrimbor who, like under Sauron's guidance, I suppose, he is the one that made the 3 rings for the elves. And the names of the 3 rings were Nenya Business. Well, the first one was Nenya. The second one was Narya, like Narya Stark. And the third one was Vilya. So Vilya, stop making terrible puns with these elf rings.
I knew that was coming. And I'm going to drink to that.
So the 3 rings, Vilya, Nenya, and Narya. These rings, the rings Vilya and Narya went to the High King, Gil-galad of Lindon, and he was like one of the big main kings of the elves. He's seen at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring in the war when we see Sauron and see Isildur chopping off Sauron's hand and all that. Gil-galad is there alongside Elrond and they're fighting. He's the guy with the big spear.
The big spear, yeah.
He's famous for having an amazing spear. And so that's this dude. So he was given the first 2 rings and he gave Vilya to Elrond. And then he gave Narya to Círdan, who is basically the guy who owns the ship at the end, who takes them all off to the Undying Lands.
A glorified captain, basically.
I know, a glorified captain.
Oh, yeah.
But he was more than a glorified captain. He was a really a wise and the longest ever living elf, I believe, Círdan. So they were, Círdan was the lord of Mithlond. It's just another elven realm that he was the lord of that. And following the arrival of the wizards in Middle-earth, Círdan recognized Gandalf as the wisest of the five and also recognized that he was a Maiar. And so for that reason, he gave him Narya, the ring of fire. Then Nenya was the other ring, and that was given to Galadriel, the Lady of Lothlorien, and she had that one forever. She kept that one, then nothing ever changed with that. So there you go, 3 rings.
Yeah. 3 rings gifted to 3 kings.
3 kings, very good. Yeah, we'll both drink to that one.
On the 4th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
Alright, so the 4th one. The 4th one is Middle-earth ages. So, of course, there were 4 Middle-earth ages. Or 4 ages in Middle-earth, I should say. The first age was also known as the Eldar Days. The Elder Days. The Elder Days refers to the most distant time in Tolkien's Legendarium, but because the origin of time can be a difficult thing to quantify, even in fictional world building, so too is the start and end of the first age. The easiest way to think of this era is as everything that happened before the start of the second age, so it sounds pretty simple, but do you know when you listen to the start of the Silmarillion, when you're reading the start of the Silmarillion and like you hear all that stuff about the singing of
the Ainur,
and all that crack. Just think of all that as like first stage crap before there's any like before there's any like Arda, before there's
first
any
stage elderberry days. Is elderberry had to do with Christmas? I'm reaching. If it is, you have to drink.
It's a berry. I'm gonna drink. So you're right. The Ainu Lindale or whatever. I don't know. I never know how to pronounce that word. But the singing of Arda and all that nonsense. So that happens in the first age. So the second age, also known as the Rise of Sauron. This lasts for 3,441 years, so we actually have a definitive time. And it's when the actual rings of power are created, and it's also when the new Amazon TV show is going to take place.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's when the Amazon TV show comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, years and years ago. It's all about the downfall of Morgoth and the rise of Sauron. But I don't want to spoil any of that for any of our listeners that are going to be watching the Amazon TV series. Next, we have the Third Age, also known as the Age of Arda and the War of the Ring. So this
also
is
the awesome video game.
Oh yeah, actually that's true. Whenever I was typing in Third Age to look up stuff, that game kept popping up, and I was like, "Yes, that's what I want to see."
I love the Third Age game; it's so good. Yeah.
So this is the part of Middle-earth history that most people, readers and viewers, would recognize, but it encompasses much more than just the events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So we got Isildur, the ring, 2,000 years it's missing, etc., etc. And eventually that ends where we see the Lord of the Rings end, and we get the Fourth Age, which is also known as the Age of Men. Excuse me. The beer is making me gassy. So Tolkien wrote the least about the Fourth Age, and that's because it's functionally the time in which his fantastical world transitions into one resembling our own. Gandalf, Elrond and Galadriel make their way back to Valinor with Frodo. Gimli and Legolas adventure together for a while. Hobbits expand their reach for a time, but eventually they and all other magical beings journey to Valinor too, or simply fade from being, leaving the world to men. Aragorn reigns with Arwen at his side over a period of great harmony until both die natural deaths. Sorry, a lot of spoilers here. And his son ascends to the throne, and life goes on with the forces of good and evil just as cyclical and ever present. And there you have it. So we only have 4 ages, but who knows? Maybe we'll get a 5th age in time to come. Probably not.
That would be lovely.
On the 5th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 5 Istari.
That's a wizard.
4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
Yes, so number 5, of course, is the 5 Istari. And what does that mean? 5 Istari is another word for the 5 wizards. So when shit started to get really bad with Sauron in the not the beginning, about 1,000 years into the Third Age, Manwë, who was the king of the Valar, he summoned a council, and which concluded that the Valar were to send 3 messengers to Middle-earth to protect the free peoples, basically. And only 2 Maiar came to the council. Sauron, who was sent by Aule, and Alatar, who was sent by Orome Knight, or Orome.
I'm gonna drink.
All right. So Saruman and Alatar. Alatar was one of the blue wizards. Manwë then summoned Gandalf specifically, and he asked if he would go as the 3rd messenger. And Gandalf claimed that he was too weak and that he feared Sauron. I'm too weak. However, Manwë said that was all the more reason to go, and he commanded him to go. Then Yavanna asked Sauron to take Radagast, which is kind of funny. I think that Sauron hates Radagast, and he was like an older brother being forced to tell it let your little brother go with you, and he's like, I don't know, he's not cool. Yeah,
Bring your idiot brother.
And Radagast's like, yeah, can I come? And so Saruman had to take Radagast with him. And then Alatar also was like, can I take my friend Palando over here? He's got nothing to do. And so they were like, okay, you can take your friend. So he took his other friend with him. And they were the 5 wizards, and they were forbidden to dominate the free peoples of Middle-earth or to match Sauron's power with power. And if they deviated from their appointed task, their powers and memory of Valinor would begin to wane. So yeah, so that's the five wizards, the 5 Istari.
Very good. I'm surprised you didn't say anything about the Istari on top of the tree.
Oh, go on, give me one there. Give me one there.
That, I don't know, you can
follow that Istari.
No matter how
no
far.
No matter how far. Oh, I'll drink that.
On the 6th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 6 feature films, 5 Istari.
They're wizards.
4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
So the next one is 6 feature films, and this of course refers to the Jackson Sextilogy? Is it? What do you call it? I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds all right.
I just came up with that there, but yeah, that's probably what it is. We got the Hobbit trilogy, and we got the... It has to be something with Ilogy, right?
I don't know.
Like you would say quadrilogy for 4 movies, wouldn't you? I think so.
I don't know.
And then
yeah.
Pentilogy, I'm going with sextilogy.
What's pentilogy? 5?
5? Well, I'm just making that up.
Yeah, you're just like, right, pentagon plus ilogy equals pentilogy.
That's how it works. That's how things work. Yeah. Anyways, so that includes the Hobbit trilogy and, of course, Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I just thought I'd share a fact or two on these trilogies because, come on, we know pretty much everything there is to know. What are we? We're a Lord of the Rings podcast here. So first with the Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's 15-month shoot for all 3 films generated 1,100 miles of film. He had to hire 3 different editors to whittle it down, one for each of the 3-hour plus installments. So there you go, 1,100 miles of film, which is pretty insane to think about.
God.
Yeah, 1,100. So, because, when you look up Lord of the Rings facts, you're always going to see the same stupid ones. You'll see
that's class.
Yeah, I know that was one that I was like, oh my god,
it's that's like the distance that the 3 kings had to travel to follow the star. They were
probably is.
Oh yeah, let's follow all the film that was laid out by Peter Jackson.
Yeah, because I wanted to look up some facts about the actual trilogies themselves and not the behind the scenes stuff, because everyone knows the story with Viggo breaking a tooth and
his 2 toes.
His mistletoes?
His mistletoes. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so I just wanted to get some more like filming knowledge. So we also have the director Peter Jackson oversaw the simultaneous shooting of all 3 films at the same time by traveling between sets on his bicycle. In this, he emulated Tolkien, who hated cars and preferred to travel on 2 wheels. And you can see some of this in the behind the scenes where they have like sets built.
Yeah.
They have a couple of sets that are like right beside each other. They have like Bag End right beside, I don't know, like a little part of Isengard, and he's just like cycling around. It just looks hilarious.
I love Peter Jackson.
And we have
we put up a tweet this week of Peter Jackson. Well, you put it up, Dave, of Peter Jackson standing there on set filming beside three or four of the hobbits, and he just blends in with the 4 of them, I think. And he's just like, he's the same height. He's got that like shaggy curly hair, and he's just like. And I think you said something like, "Oh, I didn't know that he was one of that. He was a hobbit or something like that." And yeah, it looks perfect.
Well, it's that whole perspective thing when you just because the movies are so well made, you assume that the hobbits are actually tiny, and you're like, "Oh my god,
it's
the same size as them."
It's anytime you see them like on set, and it's like Elijah Wood standing beside Ian McKellen, and you're like, "Oh my god, they're like the same height."
So altogether, the 3 Lord of the Rings films cost a reported $281 million to make, and they earned back $2.9 billion worldwide. So I just wanted to throw that fact in because that's pretty astounding. Now, on to the Hobbit trilogy. I just have 3 facts for the Hobbit trilogy.
I've got a question.
Yes. What is your question?
You said that it was a 15-month shoot to film all 3 Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Is that true? Was it like only 15 months that it took? Because I thought that they were together.
Yeah.
I thought that they were working together, like the cast and the crew. I thought they were working together for 3 years.
No, I think it's 2 years. I think
Well, 15 months is only just over a year, It just seems incredibly short to me. Maybe, maybe there were breaks in between of like not actual, or maybe that was like.
But like the cast and crew could have been together for a long time because some of them were doing stunt work and all that kind of stuff and learning languages, and a lot of them were together months before.
I thought I'd heard of a lot of the actors speak of like their 3 years that they spent in New Zealand, and if they're not filming on set and they're doing like stunt work and stuff, you'd imagine they would have done that like in, I don't know, back home wherever they were.
I think a lot of them came to New Zealand to actually do some of the work that was done before the movie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, true. Of course, they didn't just show up. I know that when like Viggo Mortensen was chosen to play Aragorn, he was brought on really late, and he came on and he did his like first day on set, and all the other guys had been working together for months. So they obviously had been there for a long time before. But I imagine like if you're an actor and you have like John Rhys Davies, who played Gimli, for example, he's at that stage he was a man with a family and children and stuff. He was hardly going to like. And I watched his interview recently when he was on Nerd of the Rings, and he was talking about how like he wasn't like jumping at the opportunity to do this movie because he didn't really know that much about it. So if it was, and I think he said something about 3 years. So I can't imagine he would like want to be away from his family for 3 years if it wasn't like if they weren't actually shooting. I imagine if there was other behind the scenes kind of thing, or not sorry, behind the scenes, but like preparation work or things like that. I imagine he would have been like, no, I want to be able to do that here from my home and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe,
I don't think it's 3 years. I don't think I ever heard 3 years, but 2 seems more likely. But if it's 2, that 15 months is 1 1/4. So there could have been a lot of other time.
That's not 2.
Yeah, 1 1/4, but like there was probably a couple of months before, a couple of months after when we're talking about actually shooting, like maybe they condensed it to 15 months. I don't know. I just took that from the web, so who knows. Bonus trivia though, you mentioned there about Viggo Mortensen came in late. Do you remember the name of the actor that he replaced? I think I know it.
Oh no. Actually, like when I was going on and when I was just there chatting away, I was like, oh, and so when Viggo Mortensen, and in my brain I was thinking, oh, I'll say when he came in to replace so and so, and then I couldn't think of his name, so I was like, well, I just won't mention that. I'll just move on. And now you've caught me. I can't remember his name.
I think. Will I say?
Yeah, go on, tell me. It's not gonna come to me.
well, if I say it, hopefully you'll be kicking yourself. Is it Stuart Townsend?
I think that could be right. Yeah, I think that could be right.
So.
Again,
come on.
I know there was an actor that I'm not familiar with, but like,
he's a nobody. Like, sorry, Stuart, you're a nobody. He's probably dead right now.
I'm not dead. What? Nothing. Here's your ninepence. I'm not dead.
Yeah. He says he's not dead.
Yes, he is. I'm not.
He isn't?
Well, he will be soon. He's very ill. I'm getting better.
No, you're not. You'll be stone dead in a moment.
Yeah, I think he obviously sucked. He must have been crap.
I can't remember much about him, but I do remember that, like, for an episode of this podcast, like, I don't know, a while ago, I looked into certain things behind the scenes, and I saw all the information that, like, he'd been there for months and months working, and apparently he'd built up, like, you know, a really good rapport, of course, with his other cast members and stuff. And I think the Hobbits, I think I heard some of the Hobbits talking about him and saying how, like, they were shocked when they just got the news, like, suddenly, like, oh, by the way, we're getting rid of this guy. He's not, you know, cutting it. He's not up to scratch. And we're just going to bring in Viggo Mortensen. And they were like, but he's our friend. We've been going for pints with him for the last 6 months. So,
yeah, heartbreaking.
Yeah. But anyway, they upgraded to Viggo. And that's...
it's a hell of an upgrade.
Yeah, never look back.
Aragorn wasn't king before Viggo played the role. They had to add that in because he was so kingly. But anyways, so I gave you a couple of Lord of the Rings facts there. Now on to some Hobbit ones. So hopefully you haven't heard of too many of these ones. So Peter Jackson actually wanted to make The Hobbit first. According to Jackson, the idea began after the director watched the 1978 Lord of the Rings animated movie. As part of his vision, he told now disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein about his intentions to make a trilogy, beginning with a solo Hobbit movie and 2 subsequent Lord of the Rings films. Ultimately, a snag in rights negotiations stalled the project, and it would be years later until Jackson was finally given the green light to go ahead with what became the Hobbit trilogy. But yeah, I think that's cool and interesting that he wanted 1 Hobbit movie and then 2 Lord of the Rings movies. Because I've heard that lots of times that he did want 2 Lord of the Rings movies. And it was extended to 3?
I think he asked for 2 because he just figured that no studio would allow him 3. And I think obviously anybody would have wanted 3 from the get-go, but he just was trying to be like realistic, and like in the real world, that's going to be really, really difficult for a studio to actually grant me 3 huge movies when I'm not really a big, you know, household name director and like that. So I think that was the reason. And then when he said that, they just said to him in like one of the initial meetings, but there's 3 books, why don't you make 3 movies? He was like, oh my God, yes, thank you.
Sound.
Yeah.
And by the way, about The Hobbit, no.
But that's cool. I never knew that he was planning on making an individual Hobbit movie before the release. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for that new fact.
You're welcome. To add to that, another fact would be, not only did the main cast of the Hobbit movies mainly consist of dwarves, but it was the first time that a human wasn't given a speaking role in Tolkien's world in the movie An Unexpected Journey. So although the race of men were shown in the opening sequence, none of them talk, putting all the emphasis on the world's more fictitious characters. So I think that's pretty cool. No man has a speaking role in that movie, which is...
I am no man.
No man can speak.
Old fool. No man can speak in this movie.
So the final fact I have is, due to the long hours of filming each day, the men would have 5 o'clock shadows by the end, which often appeared blue in front of the camera. This had to be corrected with constant touch-ups, showing the strain that the makeup crew went through to get Tolkien's characters just right. So that's pretty funny. If you look at Bilbo, like I think Martin Freeman, he gets a 5 o'clock shadow pretty easily, and because they were working such long hours, they kept on having to like shave him all the time. So that must have been fun to be on set.
Oh man, that's crazy. Also, very manly men that they were like, getting their 5 o'clock shadows at around 5 o'clock, I suppose. I
was thinking about the dwarves, like, but sure, they all had massive feet, so I'm sure they would have been fine. So it must have been just Martin Freeman. Like, who else will there be?
Well, maybe just other extras that are on the set, like around
maybe
in the background and stuff. But I mean, if there's for continuity, if you have an extra in the background in one shot, and then you're doing another shot that's like 1 second later, but then he has like a bit of stubble, you're like, right, we need to correct that. So I don't know.
Right, I'm gonna get a beer. right, let's go.
Right, okay.
Oh, I got some on my laptop. My laptop is thankful.
Bolus. You know, your laptop's drunk.
Yeah. That was like a backwards burp.
Kebab Wordsburg is what that sounded like. Yeah, it came from the depths and the deep places of the Jonathan.
On the seventh day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 7 dwarven houses, 6 feature films, 5 is starry, 4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
So 7 dwarven houses is number 7 on our list, and of course there were 7 dwarven realms, 7 dwarven clans, 7 dwarven peoples, all this kind of thing. We always hear the number 7, and we see at the beginning of the Fellowship movie as well, 7 rings for the dwarfs and the dwarf lords. So to speak about the dwarves a little bit, and we spoke about the dwarves a small bit in our episode that we did a long time ago on Moria, and we spoke about Durin the First, and all that kind of stuff. So in that episode that we did, we spoke about Durin the First and the fact that he, it says in the books that he awoke under the stars alone or something. So he just like kind of woke up and came to, and suddenly was like, I'm here, Middle Earth, I'm alive, and deal with it. And so he went on and became the first of the dwarves to awake. But then the other 6 dwarves, the leaders of their family, the other 6 dwarven, what are called the fathers, they all awoke in pairs, actually, along with their wives. So I suppose it was 12 other dwarves that awoke at that moment. So 6 men who would have had like the surname of the dwarven fathers. And so them along with like Durin was just obviously the loner. But the 7 clans of the dwarves. So just to give you the names of the 7 dwarves, we had the Longbeards, who were Durin's folk. So they're the main ones that we see in Khazad-dûm, in Moria, and they were originally from Gundabad, which is an area north of the Mistletoe Mountains.
Continue.
That was terrible. Then we had the Firebeards and the Broadbeams. Great names. Originally from the Blue Mountains, which is an area way out west of the Shire. And then we had Iron Fists and Stiff Beards, and they were from the east. And then also Blacklocks and Stonefoots also originated in the east. So those were the names and the origin areas of all of the 7. Now, Durin the First settled in the caves of Keled Zaram, which later became the greatest of dwarf realms, Khazad-dûm. And so the halls of the Longbeards, again, Durin's folk, so they were not located near the halls of any other dwarf kingdom. There was also, actually, interestingly, an 8th group of dwarves that was not a separate member from these 7 kindreds, but it was composed of exiles from each. They were called the Petty Dwarves, which is kind of cool. But they were actually hunted like animals to the point of extinction by the elves in the First Age. So elves in the First Age were absolute badasses.
Yeah.
And not just badasses, but like
They were dicks.
kind of dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't mean to, when I said badass, I think I meant to say bad They were bad apples.
Badass is in like
Yeah.
wherever that term first came from. It's like, that guy is a bad ass. And
He
it's
is an
like, that
ass
guy-
and he is bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like how words change, like, like, that's sick, and then it becomes like, oh man, that's sick. That's probably how badass happens. Like, that is badass, and it's like, man, that's badass.
I was just explaining to my girlfriend yesterday, who's not an English speaker. I was explaining to her the difference between if I say something is shit or something is the shit. She was having a bit of a difficult time realizing that I could say like, this is feckin' shit, or this is the feckin' shit. She was like, oh my god, that one word changes like it from like being the worst thing ever to the best thing ever. I was like, yep, that's the way the English language works.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Pretty confusing, but it's pretty awesome. It's the shit.
Like this podcast. This podcast is the shit.
This podcast is the shit.
This podcast is the shit. I mean, sorry.
You guys that say this podcast is shit, I know what you mean. This podcast is the shit.
Yeah. You just need to work on your articles, guys. Get them in there.
On the 8th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 8 ring bearers, 7 dwarven houses, 6 feature films, 5 history, 4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
Right, so number 8, 8 ring bearers. So if we're going by ring bearers, we have... I just have the list on how long they held or they bore the ring. So at number 1...
You're boring me right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to throw it to you and I'm going to let you make one guess each. You might know some of them and I'll drink for every time you get the correct
What am I guessing?
So you're going to guess how long each bearer bore the ring, and this is going to be in chronological order from the longest amount of time to the shortest. So
do I guess who had it longest and who had it shortest? Or?
No, I'll give you the name and you just give me...
Because the Anduin River had it the longest.
How long did the Anduin have?
Like 2,000 years or something?
Yeah, well done. I'm going to drink.
Yeah, don't come at me with that.
Come on, give me more
shit.
answers so I can drink. All right, so we'll start with the longest bearer of the ring, Sauron.
The bearer of the ring, the bearer of the ring. Actually, loving the songs from that movie now that we watched recently. Originally, I was like, "This is shit," but I'm like, I love it. So, what am I doing? How accurate do you want me to be?
I want you to be damn well accurate.
Bang on.
Bang
right,
on. Yeah.
Sauron. Right, yeah. Sauron. How long do you have the ring? Oh God, I've no idea. Like, I mean. Let me see. Okay, so he would have lost it. He lost it at the end of the Second Age. I have no idea. I mean, dates are not my thing. Like, as in, I'm probably better at dates in Middle Earth than I am in the real world. But still,
you probably won't get Sauron, but you'll get more. But give me a guess.
I'd say Sauron had the ring for 1,500 years.
That's pretty good. Pretty good guess. 1,840 years Sauron had the ring.
Okay, I'm happy with that guess.
All right. So next is Gollum.
Gollum had the ring for 500 years.
Yes, almost 500 years. So I will drink to that.
I drank to that myself as well.
Bilbo. How long did Bilbo have the ring?
Oh God, I don't want to get this wrong.
You can. I think I'd get all of them wrong.
Good man yourself. Bilbo had the ring for 61 years.
I'll give it to you.
60 years.
Almost 60 years. Almost
60 years, exactly. All right, okay. Because
Yeah.
I was like, he's around 50 at the first, in the beginning. And then obviously he turns 51 during the course of whatever. So that's probably when he finds the ring. And then later on he turns 11-1. So that'd be 6 years. So yeah.
Oh, good process of elimination and deduction done right there.
There you
So
go.
well done. So now on to Frodo Baggins.
Frodo had the ring for, I'm going to say, 18 years.
Oh, I won't accept it. 17 years Frodo had the ring.
But
I
I
know
mean,
it's close.
it must have been.
I know.
I mean, I said 18 like as an
I
average.
know.
I reckon it's definitely 17 years plus like 9 months, because I think it's a 9-month journey to go there. And I don't know what date he set out on. I can't remember those things again. I think they set out in March. But
Sorry, Wikipedia says 17.
what exactly 17 years? Bullshit.
No, I'm only messing. I don't know. 17 is what's written down here. So
What does Wikipedia know? Nothing.
I'm only messing. I didn't get it on Wikipedia.
It was mine. My own.
Yeah, very good. So next one is Isildur. How long did Isildur have the ring?
That's a tough one. That's a toughie. I don't know. He definitely had it for longer than we see in
The movie, yeah.
where he had it for about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Because I know that he like studied it and he tried to learn how to use it and stuff. So he had it for a few years anyway. I'd say I'm going to say 7 years.
Oh, 2 years Isildur had the
2
ring.
2 years. All right.
2.
Okay. That's a bit far.
Next we have Samwise. How long did Samwise bear the ring for?
Sam bore the ring for... Oh my God.
What? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that at all. It sounded like a dragon.
I'm telling you, these hazy little things, they're quite delicious.
Right. Shit. Sam had the ring. I don't know. I can't remember if it's like hours or days, or like it's probably a few days he had it. I'm gonna say that Sam had the ring for 1 day.
Oh, 2 days.
2 days.
2 days. It's gonna be the days.
That was a sneaky one. That was a tricky one.
Yeah. After that, we have Tom Bombadil, who obviously wore the ring for a couple of seconds when the hobbits visited him, and of course, the ring doesn't affect him.
Yeah, and he actually put it on. Yeah, he actually wore the ring, like not just bore it, but he put it on his finger, and it didn't turn him invisible.
It turned invisible.
Yeah, he turned the ring invisible.
Talk about reverse psychology. Yeah, the ring is like, take that, and he does the old Uno switcheroo, and he's like, no, you go invisible.
Yeah, the ring plays a plus, like pick up 2, and he's like, I'll just play a big 2 on top of that.
Exactly. And finally, we have Deagle, who found the ring after it had been missing for 2,461 years, which was exactly how long the Anduin had the ring, which I probably should have said earlier when I was like, yeah, 2,000. But yeah, so Deagle was the bearer of the ring for probably seconds, but it's still...
No, not seconds. Like, I mean, you have to fish it out of the water and all that kind of stuff. So
okay, minutes.
I would say we'd give it a couple of minutes, yeah.
A couple of minutes, but it definitely took effect on him like it did all the rest of the ring bearers. I mean, yeah, of course, like Smeagol was driven crazy by the ring, but when Deagle was holding it, like when Smeagol first came, it was just like in the vicinity of the ring, and he was like, "I'm going to kill my mate for that ring, or my mate, my kinsman, yeah, my cousin." Like, now we also have to give a mention to Gandalf, who did touch the ring when he returned to the Shire. To decide whether it was the Ring of Power or not, but we can't really say that he was a bearer of the ring. But also, there is one other person that may have come into contact with the ring, but it is unknown who it is. But while Frodo was recovering in Rivendell, one morning he found the ring pass through a chain for him. It is not known what person or persons did this while he was sleeping. It could have been Elrond, Gandalf, or any high elf of Rivendell. But their identity, the process, and whether they touched it are unknown. So there you go. There might be another one out there. The wearer of the ring.
Oh, yeah. Very good.
On the 9th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 9 fellowship members, 8 ring bearers, 7 dwarven houses, 6 feature films, 5 starring. 4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
So next on our list is the 9 fellowship members. So if I read a quote from Elrond from the Fellowship of the Book chapter, The Council of Elrond, the company of the ring shall be 9, and the 9 walkers shall be set against the 9 riders that are evil. So 9 is a number that we see a lot in the Lord of the Rings, and we chose 9 fellowship members for this segment, but we could have easily gone for the 9 ring wraiths either. So, yeah, but that was a nice little quote there from the Fellowship of the Ring, which is like Elrond actually saying, like, we've got 9 here to kind of, duel against the 9 evil ring wraiths. So that's kind of cool.
Wasn't just a coinky dink, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's kind of often overlooked that point that there's actually 9 of each little group. But I don't know if it was a good matchup, really. Like maybe, like Boromir, Aragorn, Gandalf. You're like, okay, going well here. And then you're like Gimli and Legolas.
Gimlis, that's their couple name in Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like whenever
Legally.
I mean, are Gimlis coming to the party? You know? Yeah, Gimlis are about 5 minutes away.
Or Le Gimli. I like it.
So yeah, you're like, oh yeah, we're doing pretty well, and then suddenly you've just got these 4 hobbits that are like pretty useless against their 4 counterparts. So
together they form one brain cell.
Exactly. Or if they did that kind of like cartoon, you know, maybe they could stand on each other's shoulders, 2 of them with a big long trench coat, and to make two like normal sized people, but they'd still be 2 people short in that case. But anyway, so those were the 9 Fellowship members that we all know very well. The Fellowship of the Ring was the name of the group, also known as the Company of the Ring. And this was formed from 9 members of the Free Peoples during the War of the Ring. And of course, the purpose of this company was to take the One Ring to Mordor, the only place where it could be destroyed. But I was going to think, as a little bonus Christmas present, I'm going to ask you, Dave, if you could add one of the other Lord of the Rings characters to the 9 members, who would you choose? So I'm talking about films only, like characters that we actually got to see on the screen. Because I mean, if we go into the books, you've got like
Glorfindel.
just Glorfindel, like, you know.
So who from
Turin.
So who do I think should be, or who do I think?
No, who do you just think, like, this is just a little like a little kind of thing that we can just do for fun and just think who else that we actually got to see on screen. It could be anyone. It could be like Theoden, or, you know, whatever. You could be like, I think he would have been a really cool addition to the 9 members of the Fellowship.
I mean, like, I think my favorite secondary character would be Theoden, but I don't think that would be really random in the Fellowship. So I would have to say, yeah, definitely Faramir would be probably the best 10th member, for his wisdom and just, I don't know, he seems like the right age category, and
he might bring out the best in Boromir as well.
That's true. And,
that's actually, I like that shout. Yeah. So, and again, like, I was just going to comment earlier that when you said Theoden, of course he's an amazing character, but we don't just want to go, this guy's class, let's stick him in there. Yeah, yeah. It's like, you know, you want to be like, what would actually help along the Fellowship?
No, I think it's always one of those things, like, for example, when you play the Lord of the Rings Return of the King game on PlayStation 2, you can play as 10 different characters. It's the 9 Fellowship members and then Faramir.
And Faramir, yeah.
You know, that just goes to show, like, Faramir is basically the 10th member of the Fellowship. I think he would have been perfect in the Fellowships, and it's just a shame Lord Denethor didn't send him too.
Yeah. That's very good. I like it. Faramir. Yeah, very, very good. But again, there's so many cool ones we could choose from. We could, you know, like Haldir would have been class.
Yeah.
I mean,
Arwen,
of course,
even.
Arwen, Galadriel, Eowyn, anyone, Éomer, they're all good options. I was like, I'd love to have like gambling on there. I'd love to give gambling more screen time. And he just seems like so, but like gambling's such like a hype man. He's just like, you know, he's just there like backing up his guy.
King's
Yeah, exactly. So like Aragorn, whatever, he's like, you know, that scene where Aragorn, like, I love that scene in the Fellowship where he like holds up his sword and salutes, and then like the camera pans around and you see all the army of Uruk-hai charging up towards him. It's like, I'd love to see Gambling just like standing behind Aragorn, be like, you can do it, Aragorn. You will be our king, sire.
Or in the scene where they're just like, you have my sword, you have my bow, you have my axe.
Yeah.
What would Gambling say there? He'd be like,
I got your
you
back.
You have my support.
And I've got your back.
And you have my vote.
Yeah, exactly. Him, Farmer Maggot. Farmer Maggot, like, again, is another person that we see him in the movies a little bit. We just see him with the sickle, but in the books, he actually, like, he told one of the ringwraiths, like, to piss off, basically. Like, they came up to his farm.
He would have been very handy in that fight.
He was just like, feck off, will you? Get off my property. There's no Bagginses around here. And they were like, oh, okay, I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. Farmer Maggot. So, yeah. Another good one would have been, I suppose, Bard, also known as Frosty the Bowman.
I'll drink to that. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was terrible.
He's probably dead by the time The Fellowship.
Oh
kicks
yeah, I
off.
know. I don't think he'd be a good choice. I was just putting him in to try and get that pun in.
You wanted to get the snowman thing.
I was wanting to get the bowman snowman thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking when you said Galadriel, like, obviously she would be the best addition to any group, but she just feels too much like a cheat code. Like,
yeah.
when you complete the game, then you can go back and play as Galadriel because it's piss easy after that.
Yeah, no, I like your choice. I like your choice of Faramir. I think that would have been a good one. And like as you said it, I was just like, actually, that he could also, because of his relationship with Boromir, because they got on so well, I think that he would have brought the best out of Boromir in that situation as well. And I think it's a really good
he
choice.
just brings so much wisdom as well. They wouldn't have been so irrational as a group. They would have had Faramir there being like, lads, take it easy.
Lads, I had to
try and talk to
this
the
exact
Uruk-hai.
moment.
And Boromir died.
So that's it. The 9 Fellowship members. Any extra little shout outs that you want to mention? Do you have a favourite Fellowship member? Which is a bit of a risky question.
Aragorn. Sorry. Aragorn. Aragorn's definitely, my shout. Aragorn, Gandalf, I don't know, Frodo.
Oh yeah, no, it's a silly question. It's a silly question. Yeah,
I also like Legolas and Gimli. You have to, Merry and Pippin.
Gimlet. Pippin and Merry Christmas.
Of course.
But yeah, I don't know. I've said it before in this podcast. I've always had a soft place in my heart for Boromir. He's always been one character that I've really just loved. Ever since the first time I ever saw the movie in the cinema at the Fellowship of the Ring, I was like, that character is so cool. But there's out of the 9 members, it's such a class group of people to be stuck together, and it's so cool. Like a wizard, a dwarf, an elf, 2 men. It's just so cool.
The perfect mix. They just needed one orc so that they could negotiate with the enemy. It'd be like, all right, Oogliku, this is your time to shine.
They could have done with an Ent in there as well.
Yeah, they probably had one, but the Ent, by the time of the destruction of the ring, is just leaving Rivendell. They've just destroyed the ring, and the Ent is like, you have my leaf.
I've just finished saying, you have my leaf.
On the 10th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 10 hobbit families, 9 fellowship members, 8 ring bearers, 7 dwarven houses, 6 feature films, 5 Istari, 4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbit smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
So 10 hobbit families. So this, of course, is in reference to the hobbit families that Bilbo mentions in the Fellowship of the Ring. Or should I call him Bob-el Baggins? No, does it work?
No, that doesn't work at all, but I'm still going to drink for it.
Yeah, you better drink. All right. So in the movie, he has, and this is listing 10 hobbit families, he says, my dear Bagginses and Boffins, Tooks and Brandybooks, Grubs, Chubs, Hornblowers, Bulgers, Brace Girdles, and Proudfoots.
Proud feet.
Yes, thank you very much. I wanted someone to say it.
Well, you think I'm going to pass up that opportunity? Proud feet.
Proud feet. So everyone around Hobbiton and Bywater was invited, even from Buckland. Some were distant relatives living in distant parts of the Shire. A few were overlooked by accident, but they came anyways. So in total, a select 144 from the extended families of Bilbo and Frodo joined the special family dinner party held in the great pavilion by the tree. So obviously I mentioned there that there were 10 people that Bilbo says in the film, but there were actually 14 named families in the book, excluding Gandalf the Grey. So I want to just see, do you happen to know any other ones? I can repeat the names again.
Well, he didn't mention Sackful Bagginses. I
Yes,
suppose, but
well
that's
done.
probably, is that one of them? Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, there's 4 left. So Sackville Baggins is one of them.
Oh my god, that's I don't think I'm going to get any more.
That's the only one I think you'd get,
Um,
unless you're really good.
I mean, I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember the names he mentions again. He mentions like
I'll give them to you again. So we have Bagginses, Boffins, Tooks, Brandy Books, Grubs, Chubs, Hornblowers, Bulgers, Brace Girdles, Proudfoots, and you've mentioned Sackville Bagginses.
Your man who Old Toby was named after. What was his surname?
He was a hornblower.
He was a hornblower.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to get it. I can't think of any more.
So we have Sackville Baggins, which you correctly said. We have Burrows. We have Good Bodies and Brockhouses.
Brockhouses, class.
Yeah, so you can actually look at a list of all the people.
They all ring a bell, yeah, but
yeah. And they're all related. Like, I think Grubs and Chubs are, I think both of them are related to Bilbo's grandmother. Like, Grubs are one grandmother and Chubs are the other grandmother. So
sure, they're all like wheat. They're so inbred.
more inbred than my sandwich.
My dear Bagginses and Boffins, Tooks and Brandy Bugs, Grubs, Chubs, Hornblowers, Bulgers, Brace Girdles, and Proudfoots. Today is my 111th birthday.
On the 11th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 11 Oscar trophies, 10 Hobbit families, 9 fellowship members, 8 ring bearers, 7 dwarven houses, 6 feature films, 5 a starring, 4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring.
So the next on our list is 11 Oscar trophies. And of course, this is a famous number of trophies that was won by The Lord of the Rings. Which movie won 11 Oscars, Dave?
The Return of the King.
The Return of the King, exactly. So this is 11 Oscar trophies. That's not the total trophies that's not the total Oscars. That's The Lord of the Rings trilogy won. Do you know how many they won how many the trilogy won, Dave?
17, isn't it?
That's correct. Exactly. Very good. The first one won 4, the second 2, and then the third had a clean sweep of 11 trophies. So Peter Jackson's last film, The Return of the King, won all 11 Oscars that it was nominated for in the 76th Academy Awards. This set a record for the largest clean sweep and equals the highest number of Oscars achieved by Ben-Hur in 1959 and the Titanic. In 1997. So I think a lot of people know that it had the same number, that these 3 movies have won 11 Oscars. But did you know that this was the highest clean sweep? So basically that means that obviously Ben-Hur and Titanic were probably nominated for more than 11 and they won 11. They didn't have clean sweeps.
Yeah.
So just another little detail there that nice to know.
It's cool. It's hard to know though, is that good or is that bad? Like, why wasn't the Lord of the Rings or the Return of the King nominated for more Oscars?
There was
Do you
other.
know what I mean?
There were other great movies that year, and there was other,
I know, but like, come on.
I mean, in terms
of all time, man.
But in terms of acting performances, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who won Oscars. Like, did any of the actors actually win for like?
I don't think so.
Supporting or lead role. I don't think they won any of those because there was other movies, and also I remember. What movie was it? Like Master and Commander or something. That one with like Russell Crowe. That won like best.
That came out in 2003 as well.
That won like best cinematography or something like where you were like, oh, Lord of the Rings should have won that. Where I'm like, I think maybe there was like,
and Pippin was in it.
Pippin was in it, yeah. But like, so that one. I know Renee Zellweger won for I can't remember the movie. I think she won best best actress or best supporting actress, something like that. I can't remember. I can't remember the other ones, but basically I was looking them up the other day, the ones that other people won, and there was actually quite a few movies that did quite well that year. So Lord of the Rings, every category that it was in, it won. But interestingly, it was the first time that the Academy Awards had recognized a fantasy film as Best Picture. So obviously that's probably one of the biggest awards that you can win at the Oscars, apart from, Best Leading Actor or Best Director. You've got Best Picture, which is, a huge accolade if you win that one. So Peter Jackson actually remarked, and he said, quote, "I'm so honored, touched and relieved that the Academy has seen past the trolls, the wizards and the hobbits, recognizing fantasy this year." So I think that's kind of cool as well.
That is cool, yeah.
And,
that's the big one, really. That's the last award that they give, I think, is Best Picture. The last two is Best Director and Best Picture. Or I think it's like Best Actor, Best Director, Best Picture. I think that's the
possibly, yeah. And of course, the last two then would have been the ones that were both won by Lord of the Rings. Best Director, Peter Jackson won that. Best Picture, they won that as well. Do you know any other? What other categories do you think you can list off that you know that they won? I mean, there's loads of other, like the
I know there's loads of
editing and things like whatever.
I can guess.
Maybe...
I think I can guess a few.
Go on. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess score.
Best score, yes. It won the best score. Best original score was Howard Shore. Yeah. Best
original score. Yeah. I'm gonna say costume design or whatever that one is.
Best costume design. Makeup. Yes, that was
makeup a separate thing.
Makeup is a separate thing, which was they also won that. So Richard Taylor.
Richard Taylor.
He was in both. He was in Best Makeup, Richard Taylor and Peter King, and Best Costume was I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. It's Ngila. Is it Nyla or Ngila or something like that? Dixon and Richard Taylor were both in for Best Costume Design.
I think I know another one as well. I don't know what the name of it would be, but like sound mix or like sound effects or something.
Best sound mixing was another win as well. Yes, well done.
All right, that's 6. This is good. Okay, how many?
Oh my god! I'm just reading this here. 25. Michael Hedges was in Best Sound Mixing. Is that the same Michael Hedges, the famous guitar player?
That guy.
I wonder if it is. That would be very interesting.
I've heard of before.
He's an old fingerstyle guitarist who was incredible. No, I think he was dead by then. But anyway, never mind. So best sound mixing, yeah, very good. I'm going to go back to the music because you got best original score. There's
best original score and best song was what's her face? Your one, whatever God damn it, what's the song called? Into the West. Exactly. Best original song, is it?
Best original song.
Best original song. Yeah. So that's 7.
Exactly. Into the West. That was which is music and lyrics by Fran Walsh, Howard Shore, and Annie Lennox of the Eurythmics.
Fran Walsh. Legend.
Yeah, legend. Exactly. She's in there writing scenes, writing lines like "You shall not pass," and writing lyrics to the best original song for an Oscar win. What an absolute legend, Fran Walsh.
And screaming for the Nazgul scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Legend.
I love Fran Walsh.
Is there any sort of like best producer or any of those kind of things? Best executive producer? Is that a thing? No. Best like production or not? No. Okay, let me see. I don't think they got anything for like CGI or motion.
What do we do after we finish recording these episodes?
Editing. Best editing.
Very good, Dave. Well done. And we know it's an absolute pain in the balls. So they got best film editing was by Jamie Selkirk.
Oh, cool. That's a cool name. Selkirk.
I know.
It's like Dunkirk. How many do I have left? 3?
I've lost count. Around 3, yeah.
Oh, best filmography?
Cinematography?
Cinematography?
Cinematography, no, it wasn't. It wasn't nominated. It won Best Cinematography. The only time it won that was for The Fellowship of the Ring. It won Best Cinematography, but it wasn't even nominated.
There's always a photography one as well. Is that there?
No photography.
What the hell else can there be? Script. Best script.
It's under the
screenplay. Best screenplay.
Yes, exactly. Adapted screenplay. Best writing, and then it would have like adapting a screenplay.
Right.
Brackets.
I don't think I'm going to get any more. You tell me the rest.
I don't know what ones you've missed. Best art direction.
Okay.
Which was
Alan
Grant
Lee?
Major, Dan Hina, and Alan Lee. Yeah, did you say Alan Lee? Yeah,
I said Alan Lee. Yeah, but that was a guess because I was going to say the other ones as well, which I can't remember right now.
What the other like famous artists?
The other ones. Ted Naismith is one.
Just to go quickly through them, we have Best Picture, Best Director, Best Art Direction, Best Sound Mixing, Best Music, Best Original Song, Best Film Editing, Best Visual Effects is one that you didn't.
I said there probably wasn't any visual effects. Damn. Okay, I got that wrong.
I mean, yeah, they just they just got some mummicle to come in and act, and then.
I mean, I just thought that they didn't have Oscars back then to support visual effects, and
Well, of course they did. Yeah. I mean,
as in, like, they didn't. It's kind of like when people talk about how Andy Serkis wasn't recognized as an actor back then, whereas if he put in that performance today, he would absolutely get Best Supporting Actor. But like, he wasn't even considered. So
I know. Well, like, I mean, I know it's nearly 20 years ago that we're speaking about with The Return of the King, but still, people rated visual effects back then. It was still a big deal. It was like, oh my god, we've never seen stuff like this before, like on screen, and or like seeing the fell beasts flying around and stuff. It was incredible. What else? So best visual effects there, best costume design, which you got best makeup, and then best writing or adapted screenplay. So you got them all except for maybe that visual effects one and the art direction.
Oh yeah,
well. So well done, brilliant. Wow, you did very well.
I don't actually think I've ever seen that, but yeah, you could kind of guess them all, like, kind of easily. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So none of the actors ever won individual Oscars, which is a little bit unfortunate.
But they do say like they don't have. I've seen somewhere or a few places saying that Lord of the Rings is one of the only films that doesn't have a main actor in it. It's kind of like one of those things where like it doesn't really have a soul. Like you could say Frodo is, you could say Gandalf is, you could say Aragorn is.
No, they've definitely got. Yeah, exactly. There's no obvious standout lead, and for that, in that sense as well. Also, there were. Well, do you know any actors who may have been nominated for best supporting actor?
Is there, how many is there?
I'm not going to say.
I'm going to guess Ian McKellen and Viggo Mortensen.
Right, I didn't want to say it because there's only one.
Okay, Ian McKellen.
Correct. Which movie?
Oh, it's only one movie. Oh, it would have to be Fellowship of the Ring.
Correct. Very good. Yeah. Well done. Yeah. So the only individual actor who was nominated for anything was Ian McKellen for Gandalf as best supporting actor in the Fellowship of the Ring.
I wonder who won it that year.
I don't know. Well, that was best supporting actor, so it wasn't even best main actor. So yeah,
still though.
But it's interesting that I'm just reading it here now as best supporting actor, and I knew that Ian McKellen had been nominated for that movie, and I think I probably had always thought that it was like best actor, and so no, it's interesting because as you just said there that there's probably no obvious standout main actor. That's obviously the reason why he was nominated for a supporting actor. So it's interesting, yeah, and that it is cool, and again, it works so well in a movie where you have so many different characters. And they all have, well, a lot of them have equal screen time, and they're as important as each other. And so, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like I remember that as well when the Avengers movie was coming out, and the way Oscars work, or the way the nominations work, I think the actual studio has to put forward like you can't, not everyone can just get nominated. Like the studio have to put forward people that are able to get nominated, basically. And there was a big discussion around, what are they going to do? Are they going to put Robert Downey Jr. forward as an actual supporting actor or as like the main actor? And
that's interesting. Yeah,
and like they were trying to pick out a few different, like how do you decide which of the Avengers? Because they were trying to get as many Oscars for that movie as possible, or as many nominations.
For Endgame,
for Endgame, yeah. But like it had so many characters, and they were. I just remember the discussions going on. Yeah, the discussions going on around that time. People just saying like, what are they going to do? Are they going to put forward Robert Downey Jr. as like the supporting actor and the main actor, or are they going to put down this person as this and this person as that? So it's interesting. So maybe Return of the King could have had more nominations if they put more people forward. So
that is interesting. I've never really thought about it before. I've never really looked into the way that it works, the way that the Academy Awards works, and who is it that selects who should be an actor, like a principal actor or a supporting actor. So that's kind of interesting that it's like the movie, the people that are creating the movie are thinking, well, if we put him forward for best actor, best leading actor, he probably mightn't win that category. So maybe we'll try and put him into a supporting actor role. So obviously it depends on the type of movie. If you're watching a movie where it's like, I don't know, there's one obvious standout character, like Free Willy, the whale. I don't know why when I thought of any movie ever made, I thought of Free Willy.
I have another one. Free Willy 2.
Yeah. So anyway, that's cool. But yeah, anyway, there you go. There is all the Oscar chat.
And the Oscar goes to... It's a clean sweep. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, Barry M. Osborne, Peter Jackson, and Fran Walsh producers.
On the 12th day of Christmas, the Dark Lord came to bring 12, 96, 11 Oscar trophies, 10 Hobbit families, 9 Fellowship members, 8 Ring Bearers, 7 Dwarven houses, 6 feature films, 5 is starry. 4 Middle-earth ages, 3 magic elf rings, 2 hobbits smoking, and the one and ruling ring. And the one and ruling
So number 12, 1296.
Very good year.
Yes, indeed. It was a very good year. And it
was a very good year.
So Johnny, what is the name of the bottle?
The name of the bottle. So the bottle, what are we talking about? First of all, we're talking about obviously
we're talking about
Fellowship of the Ring.
Exactly.
In the Fellowship of the Ring, when Gandalf first arrives at Bilbo's house, and Bilbo's all excited that Gandalf's there, he's like, woohoo, I'm going to put on some tea, and I'm going to get some cheese, and let's open a bottle of I believe it's called the Old Wynyard.
Yes, well done.
And then, nice one. I'm glad I got that. The Old Wynyard, and he says, 1296, very good year. Almost as old as I am. Exactly. And that's, I love that quote. I just think it's hilarious. I don't know why.
Well, you said it's called the Old Wynyard, and I said you're correct. I don't have it written down anywhere, but I'm just going off memory, and I was like, yeah, the Old Wynyard. That's what he says in the movie.
Like vineyard, but with a Y, or with a W.
Vineyard. So, but the interesting thing about this quote is Mr. Bilbo was actually born in the year 2890 of the Third Age. So, was he joking, or like, if I saw a date from the 1800s and I said to Dad, it's almost as old as you are. Is that like what Bilbo was saying to kind of make himself feel a bit older, or was it like a mistake from the filmmakers, or what do you think?
No, it was he was going off Shire reckoning.
Oh yeah, I know the answer. I'm asking you.
Oh right, sorry. I thought. Okay, sorry. I thought you were making a mistake there.
No. I'm putting it to you.
Sorry, maybe I wasn't really paying attention. So basically, this is something so confusing in the Lord of the Rings that they have the different, and again, this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult for me as a person that's really bad at remembering dates. I remember studying history in school, and I was like studying about the war of whatever, and I was like had to learn the dates, and I would read them, I'd read the page like 5 or 6 times over and over, and then literally 10 minutes later, I was like, I don't remember any of the dates. I don't know what's going on. So I can't do dates. I'm just not good at them. So it's really difficult for me to remember any of these dates. And so for me, 1296 even, that's one that I remember
Very
now
good,
because
yeah.
I've just heard it so much. And I think we kind of think that it's a funny number between us and our other Lord of the Rings friends that we kind of mention that sometimes.
All 2 of them.
Yeah, in our Lord of the Rings WhatsApp group.
If anyone wants to join, let us know. We're really looking for friends.
We want more Lord of the Rings banter. So basically, what am I talking about? So the years. Sorry, I'm getting drunk. I think now that 7.2% beer has hit me. So basically the thing is that the reason it's so difficult to remember the dates in Lord of the Rings is that there are actually 2 different set of dates. There are the actual, world recognized dates, which is where we know, for example, the Third Age starts at 0, and then at 1,000 years into the Third Age was when the wizards, the Astari, came, and then it all culminated in like the 3021 was the year where the ring was destroyed. Is that right? Basically, all the time, whatever year that we're told it is in Middle Earth, we also have another year which is called Shire Reckoning. So basically, the lads in the Shire are just there going, what year is it again? And he's like, I reckon it's probably about the year 3. It's like, right, okay, we'll call it the year 3, and we just go off that. And then whatever, like they don't care what's going on in the outside world. So they have their own system. It's like Chinese New Year. It's like,
makes no sense.
You're like, today's Chinese New Year. You're like, what? I didn't know it's a new year now. And they're like, those Chinese, they're just doing their own thing. They're just completely oblivious to what's going on in the rest of the world. And they don't give a damn. So fair play to them. So basically, the Shire lads, the hobbits, they're just like the Chinese. They're just off doing their own thing.
I like how it's also called Shire Reckoning. It's like, I reckon it's about 46 years.
Yeah, but I think
in
the verb to reckon, we use that now in the modern day as in like, it's probably I reckon this and I reckon that. It's kind of a very kind of, it's not. It doesn't sound very official. It sounds very like I don't know now, but I reckon it's probably this. Originally, like years and years and years ago, and obviously when Tolkien was writing, the verb to reckon had a lot more of like, not like scientific, but it meant that there was some sort of there was some sort of study being put into your actual you're putting forward an idea, and it's not just taken out of the blue. Like you're actually kind of going, I've looked into this, and this is what I think the correct answer is. So there was definitely a different meaning of reckoning back in the day. So to reckon meant like to think with purpose or with good reason to think this. So the Shire Reckoning is, but I prefer to think of it as the way that we use reckoning now. Like that the hobbits
I reckon
just, like,
it's the year 2.
Smoking weed, and they're like, what time do you reckon the Bilbo's birthday is going to start? I reckon it'll start at around 7:00.
So if you guys want to actually know how to tell what date it is in Shire Reckoning, I can let you know now. Shire Reckoning year 1 corresponded to 1601 of the Third Age. So that is the year that the colonization of the Shire began by the Bree Hobbits, Marcho and Blanco. So therefore, years of the Third Age, years of the Third Age can be converted to Shire years by subtracting 1600. So whenever you're wondering what year it is, just take 1600 away from it, and boom, Shire Reckoning. I reckon you know the Shire.
So 1296 was actually 2496.
Yeah. You also need to be good at maths.
Oh wait, no, that's so yeah. There we go. So what was it? 1296. What did you say? 1600. So 2896. 2896.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because Bilbo was born in the year 2890.
Right, so 6 years difference. There you go. Yeah. Almost as old as he is. So
exactly.
6 years. There you go.
6 years, almost as old as I am.
All come full circle.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm sure that puts to bed some of the worries that you guys have had over Shire Reckoning. I know it's been keeping me awake at night. So
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm finally glad to know that there is a structure, because I always actually did think it was like Shire Reckoning, like they kind of, not that like I reckon it's this, but they just kind of came up with some random year, and I kind of thought maybe the years aren't the same as the calendar years of, you know, the normal men and such. But yeah, there you go.
Very nice, very good. That was enjoyable.
Before we finish, we're nearly finished the episode now, guys. But we received a tweet from Ash Dryel on Twitter, and they said, at Mellon Heads, just gotta ask, hope you see this tweet. In Star Wars, Life Day is like Christmas for them and is as joyous. But does Middle-earth celebrate a Christmas-like event too? What's it called if there is? Thank you very much. So, do you know? Would you have an answer?
Do I know if they celebrate Christmas in Middle-earth?
Yeah, or what it's called, or what's the story there?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something and nothing's coming to me. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to say I don't know the answer to this question. It's a great question. I like.
Yeah. So obviously I had to look into it, and there is no Christmas, but the closest thing they have is Yuletide, which runs from.
I was actually going to say that was going to be my guess. The Yuletide.
Yuletide. It runs from 29 for Yule to 2 after Yule. So how it works is the last day of the year and the first of the next year were called the Yule days. So the Yule days and the Lith days remained outside the months, so that January 1st was the second and not the first day of the year. The Lith days and the Yule days were the chief holidays and times of feasting. So actually, now that I'm saying this, I'm trying to remember. But
Feast on his flesh.
I think the Yule days. I could be wrong in saying this, but I think the Yule days are only celebrated by hobbits, and I think the Lith days as well. They're basically in the Hobbit calendar. It's the same as the man calendar, except they have extra days that aren't counted. Basically, so their January 1st is like the second day of the year because it comes after it comes after Yule, which is the name of that day. So it's kind of weird. But their leap days work differently, and I think the Hobbit calendar has like 30 days in every month, whereas the man calendar is more similar to ours. So I don't know, it's very confusing. But
the Hobbits were dead right. 30 per month makes more sense than 30, every second, 30, 31, and then 28, and then randomly some, who made our calendar? What kind of Excel spreadsheet do they have? Like, oh, crap, this sheet just like deleted a couple of days. It's only got 28. It's like, it's too late. Go with it now.
Do you know the rhyme that we have? The Hobbit's rhyme must be so much easier. It's like 30 days had September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 30 days.
And also January and February.
Except February, which also has 30.
Our rhyme is terrible. It doesn't even rhyme. Especially like the part where it's like
except February, which is 28.
Which is 28. You're like, what?
But there should be another little asterisk there that says, except every 4 years when it has 29. That would help it rhyme even more.
Yeah, I mean, again, they need better writers for these kind of little rhymes. But all that being said, I always remember that rhyme. And whenever somebody asks me how many months are or how many days are in a month, I use that same rhyme. Like,
yeah, me too.
2 days, that's September. Yeah, very good.
So yeah, before we finish, first of all, I hope that answers your question, Dryel, Ash Dryel 2 on Twitter. But yeah, before we finish, do you have any more puns that were omitted from our conversation? I think
we forgot about it. I think the beers took over and we kind of forgot about the puns.
Yeah.
Because I'd written down,
it might be edited really like into the condensed time of like an hour or something, but I've had 18 beers. Nah, I'm only messing.
Yeah.
About half that.
Nah, grand. I wrote down a couple other stupid puns. Again, we just came up with this so before the episode. So
hit me with all yours.
But what do I have left? I used the Mistletoe Mountains. I've one for a particular Ent. Can you think of one?
Is it Christmas Tree Beard?
It is Christmas Tree Beard. Yeah. Do you have the same one?
Well, I didn't write it down. I thought it was beneath me.
Yeah, exactly. Here's one that's not going to be beneath you. The dragon Glaurung. I was like, Glaurung a dug dug. For the little drummer boy.
Oh, yeah.
Which was terrible. If you want to have a nice drink this Christmas, you could have some Belegnog.
Oh, nice.
So Beleg is the best friend of Turin to Rumbar.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do I have any other ones? I think that's all I have. And then I had Frosty the Bowman, and yeah, that's all I'd written down. I'd written down like 4.
Oh, very good. Okay, I've got some, but they're kind of crap. So I've got Dasher and Prancering Pony.
Okay, yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah.
I've got Gold, Frankincense, and Aemir. A little better.
Yeah.
This one
getting there.
Okay, I'm going to bring it right back down to crap level again.
Oh damn!
So,
I thought we were getting better and better every time.
Okay, well I'll get the crap one out of the way, and then the other one's okay. So you know the way a Christmas tree is also called a fir tree. So I've got Furamir.
That's
my worst one. That's my worst.
Terrible.
All right, so we got Good King.
Delete that one. No, I'm joking.
We've got Good King Arwenceslas. Arwen?
Yeah, I heard Arwen. I just don't know who you're talking about. Who's the good king?
Good King Wenceslas.
What? Who's he?
Good King. Jesus. It's a very famous hymn.
Song?
But anyways.
Oh, right.
We've got...
In Spain, the 3 kings are very important here, and they've got different names. It's not Wenceslas. It's like... they've got
I don't think it's one of the 3 kings. It's like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good King Wenceslas.
Oh, I think... yeah. Oh, yeah. That hymn, yeah. I've never paid attention to the name of that song before. Yeah.
My last 2 I think are my favorite 2. So I have they have a cave tra la 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 la. And then
yes, brilliant.
My final one is also in song format.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Go on. Bring it home.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rog.
Very nice, Belrog. Yeah. Those 2 were in the vein of my Glaurunga Dung Dung kind of one. Which, yeah, very nice. Well done. Good job.
All right, guys, let us know what you think is the best pun that you've heard tonight. And send us your puns as well, because I want to hear them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I mean, like again, we only just kind of thought of this just before we started, just before we clicked record. So
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna like finish this and just be like kicking myself when I think of more puns.
I know, me too.
There's got to be loads of them out there. I mean, it's quite niche. It has to be Christmassy and it has to be Lord of the Rings, but I believe you guys could do it. You could definitely find some.
There were so many places where we could have put, like, even when we were talking about Yuletide, I was like, oh, you'll never guess my next pun. Do you know, things like that. But it's not, that's not really Lord of the Ringsy. Like, Yule is just.
Well, Yuletide isn't Lord of the Rings. I mean, maybe you just explained to us there that that's still maybe a version of Christmas, but Yuletide
that's what I was
doesn't.
thinking. I was thinking, like, this word is Christmassy and it's punny. This word is Lord of the Ringsy and punny, but it has to be, like, both.
Yeah, that's why you need to get both of them in there, yeah. So that's what we want. Send them into our Twitter accounts or into our Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want, and we'll love to see them. And we'll share them.
At Mellon_Heads, send them in. So yeah, that kind of concludes this episode and season 1 of the Council of Elrond. So any last lingering thoughts? Juan Tan.
We've lingered too long. Or we cannot linger. What does he say?
Yeah, we cannot linger.
But does Frodo say we've lingered too long when they're watching the Moomical?
I don't think he says linger.
Maybe not. It's Legolas that says we cannot linger.
Yeah, Legolas. Yeah, we cannot linger.
This is the kind of conversations that Dave and I have off air when we're just trying to remember. Like, if somebody says anything like about linger, we're like, wait a minute, I heard that in Lord of the Rings. I'm going to repeat it. It's basically our conversations. So
it's like when someone says the word Balrog, and you're like, oh, I heard that word in Lord of the Rings.
I heard that one time.
That sounds familiar.
Are you going to buy a carpet or a new Balrog? Oh, we're going to buy a Balrog. Yeah, so no, I don't really have any lingering thoughts, but it's been a great year. It's been a great year, and it's been a lot of fun to do this podcast, and it's been so much fun to actually share it with other people. And thank you all so much for listening, guys, and tuning in each week, and also getting in touch and letting us know anything about the podcast. Just Dave and I, we always we're always so happy to see any comments about just any little mentions of whether you guys are enjoying it, or just individual things, or your own opinions on certain things that we've said, things like that. We always just think it's a lot of fun to hear back from you guys. So, and it was really cool to see people like actually putting our podcast up on their Spotify Wrapped things as well. That was really, really cool as well, to say like, oh, people are actually have us down as their number one choices and stuff. So that was awesome as well.
Yeah, no, it was cool. And I always retweet it whenever I see it, but like I absolutely love when people say something like, oh, I just discovered this podcast, it's absolutely amazing, and or I don't know, things along that line, where just like, have you guys heard of this Lord of the Rings podcast? And yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is I will retweet your message if you share our podcast, because it means the world to us. And also a special mention to all of our members on buymeacoffee.com, because that still blows my mind that people are actually willing to fork out some money each month for us.
Yeah, that it's so much appreciated, and thank you guys so much. And again, if anybody else would like to donate the price of a cup of coffee, you can go on there. You can sign up for a monthly thing where you can give us a couple of euros per month, or you can just go on and say, here, I've got an extra €1.50. I'm going to give it to these boys, or whatever you want to do. And that's so kind as well for all of our members. We've got members that have been doing that for a long time, and we can't stress how much we appreciate that and how big of a legend you all are. So yeah
Cool. So before we finish, are you looking forward to Christmas?
I can't wait for Christmas. So
the next time we talk, you'll be here.
I mean, I might speak to you tomorrow.
I mean, I won't answer the phone.
No, but yeah, so today is a Saturday, and next Tuesday I'm flying home for Christmas. So flying home for Christmas, yeah, bit of Chris Rea. I'll be listening to that on the way home, and can't wait. I'm very excited.
Yeah, very excited. PlayStation, Lord of the Rings, hot whiskies, nice fire, cold Ireland,
malt beer,
salted pork,
meat off the bone. Yeah, class. It's gonna be good.
By the way, actually, last year we were playing that Jedi Fallen Order. Did you ever finish that game?
No, I got to like a level where you're fighting against this boss who's basically just this Jedi, and he's just class. And I'm like, I didn't really spend too long against him. I just I did. I tried to beat him a few times, and he was just too good. I was like, feck this, and then I haven't really gone back to play it again.
Very good.
But I should do, because I just got a 65-inch TV, and I'm like, I wonder what the PlayStation would look on this bad boy. It's just like an absolute massive monster. It's like a home cinema experience. I'm like, gotta plug the PlayStation in and see what's going on. Obviously, bought this new TV. It's huge, and the first day we got it, we were like, me and my girlfriend, we were like, well, what are we gonna watch? Obviously, Fellowship of the Ring, and it was class. It was so good. And I saw I think actually when I was watching it, I was like taking photos of the quality and sending them on to Dave to be like, oh my god, look at the detail. You can see like the sweat beads rolling off like Frodo's face and stuff. So I was very excited.
I was very excited for those sweat beads.
So yeah, guys, that was our 12 Days of Christmas and our Lord of the Rings version, and maybe we'll release it on Spotify or on TikTok or on OnlyFans, as Dave said. Maybe we'll put it out there somewhere for you guys to listen to. Or another thing is that would be really, really cool if you guys wanted to record your own versions, or actually just send in your own maybe updated versions of, I would prefer to put 8 whatever. And you can send those into us on at Mellon_Heads as well. Or just record it and send us the actual audio, because we'd love to hear your singing as well.
So I want to hear some cool accents.
Exactly. And also get your editing skills and your music skills send them in as well. So we hope you enjoyed our version and that you enjoyed our Christmas special episode, and it was a lot of fun.
God bless and good night, and we'll see you in 2022.
And Merry Edoc Christmas.
And a brandy buck New Year.